A black mechanic was met with mocking stares the moment he arrived to fix a billionaire's private jet. What followed just minutes later stunned everyone present. Laughter rippled through the hangar as Marcus Jennings rolled up in his aging pickup truck, parking it right on the private runway at Westlake International Airport. Behind the tinted glass of the VIP terminal, executives dressed in flawless suits exchanged looks filled with disbelief and quiet ridicule. The 38-year-old black mechanic stepped out, his work-worn hands marked by years of labor, and pulled a dented toolbox from the truck bed. "Is this really the specialist they sent for Mrs. Evans's jet?" Richard Hastings, Evans Aerospace's director of operations, scoffed openly. "I thought we requested the top technician in the region, not someone who looks like he just crawled out of a roadside garage." Marcus heard every word, yet his posture never wavered. Dignity was something he had learned to protect. Scenes like this were familiar. What no one there realized was that those very hands had repaired more luxury aircraft than all the airport's certified technicians combined. 15 years working on executive jets, national awards for technical excellence. Still, his appearance spoke louder than his resume. "Mrs. Evans' jet needs to be airborne in 2 hours," the runway supervisor stated, deliberately keeping his distance. "Our team hasn't identified the fault. If you can't solve it, we'll bring in the Atlanta crew." The Gulfstream G650 shimmered under the morning sun like a flawless $65 million gem. As Marcus approached, he felt eyes tracking his every move through the terminal glass, skeptical eyes, judgmental eyes, and one pair that lingered differently, focused, measuring, curious. "Let him work," the female voice sliced through the silence. Alexandra Evans, 43, CEO of Evans Aerospace and owner of the jet, crossed the tarmac with decisive strides. Her tailored navy suit contrasted sharply with her perfectly styled brown hair. She ignored the executives completely, locking her gaze on Marcus alone. "How long?" she asked. "That depends on what's wrong, ma'am," Marcus answered evenly, meeting her eyes without hesitation. "You have 1 hour," Alexandra replied, glancing at a watch worth more than Marcus earned in a year. "Impress me." As the executives retreated into air-conditioned comfort, Marcus opened the primary access panel and instantly grasped the severity of the issue. The pressurization system had suffered a catastrophic failure, misdiagnosed by others as a minor electrical glitch. If the jet had taken off, the cabin would have depressurized at 45,000 feet. No one would have survived. His hands moved with surgeon-like precision. He wasn't just fixing machinery, he was preventing a tragedy. Through the corner of his eye, Marcus noticed Alexandra watching him closely. Her stare wasn't laced with contempt. It was something else entirely: recognition. 30 minutes later, the issue was resolved. Marcus sealed the panel, wiped his hands on a worn cloth, and began packing his tools. No applause was expected. Gratitude rarely followed excellence when it came from someone like him. Then, Alexandra Evans stepped out once more, this time alone. "How long would it have taken them to find the real problem?" she asked calmly. "They never would have," Marcus replied. "The jet would have gone down with everyone on board." Silence settled heavily around them. Alexandra studied him intently. "Come with me." The command sent a ripple of shock through the staff, especially Richard Hastings, whose unease was now impossible to hide. What no one at that airport understood was that this wasn't just about a repaired jet or lives saved. This moment marked the beginning of something far larger, one that would expose decades of buried truths and challenge prejudices ingrained across generations. The greatest secret of all, the man who had just saved the aircraft was the very engineer who had designed the pressurization system used in half of Evans Aerospace's fleet, a system for which Richard Hastings had claimed full credit. As Marcus and Alexandra walked away, whispers followed them. Hastings stood frozen, his expression strained, his body tight as a wire ready to snap. "My office. Now," Alexandra ordered. They walked in silence through polished hallways few employees were ever allowed to enter. Inside her private office, a seamless blend of luxury and efficiency, Alexandra gestured for Marcus to sit. "Did you ever give me your full name?" she asked. "Marcus Jennings," she typed rapidly on her tablet. Her eyes widened slightly. "Marcus Jennings? MJ," she murmured. "The initials on the original G7 pressurization designs." Marcus remained still, though. His fingers tightened against the armrest. 3 patents, 4 innovation awards, a master's degree in aerospace engineering, she continued. "And yet you repaired jets like a line mechanic. Why? Because no one hires a black engineer from the suburbs to lead development teams," Marcus answered. "And mechanics still have bills, Ms. Evans." Alexandra pulled a folder from her desk. Inside were corporate records, each one bearing Richard Hastings' signature. "Do you know how much revenue this system generated in 5 years?" she asked. "About $428 million, Marcus replied. "Fuel usage dropped 23%. Maintenance costs fell 31%. Alexandra looked up, startled. "Richard received 3 promotions and a $2.5 million bonus," she said quietly. "While I fixed jets," Marcus finished. A knock interrupted them. Richard Hastings entered, feigning concern. "The board is waiting," he said, then stopped short upon seeing Marcus. "Why is he still here? The service is done, isn't it?" "We're discussing intellectual property," Alexandra replied calmly. "Specifically the G7 system." Hastings went pale. Dr. Sophia Chun, the company's chief legal officer, entered moments later. "I've verified the records," she said coolly. "The original digital signatures belong to Mr. Jennings, not you." From that moment forward, everything unraveled. What followed reshaped Evans Aerospace, dismantled an entrenched system of theft and discrimination, and elevated Marcus Jennings from invisible mechanic to director of technological innovation. 6 months later, the company bore no resemblance to its former self. Diversity wasn't a slogan, it was reality. Stolen credit was restored. Careers were rebuilt. Futures reclaimed. Standing before a crowd 1 year later, Marcus looked out and saw something more meaningful than applause. Young engineers who no longer doubted their worth. "True justice," he said, "isn't personal success. It's making sure no one else has to fight the same battles." And that, more than titles or wealth, became his greatest legacy.